one Celtic fans view this evening. It does look like that we're nearing the end game with the Matt O'Reilly saga. Just wait till I try and get Olympics. I want to try and get Sky News on. There has been some breaking news this afternoon that a team is about to make. There's Sky Sports News. There we go. 25 million plus add-ons. Oh, done that down. Why is there no volume? Why is there no volume? Why is there no volume? Oh, no, there we go. There we go, it's working. Bernardo's the ready replacement. I have just been texted that Paulo Bernardo is the replacement for Matt O'Reilly. How do you feel about that, Celtic fans? How do you feel about that this evening? That's a text that's just buzzed up on my screen. It looks like we're nearing the end game. Just mute that down. Yeah, it looks like we are nearing the end game when it comes to Matt O'Reilly. If a bid for 25 million plus add-ons is into the club by Brighton this week, that will be the point at which the board open up talks and negotiations for the sale of Matt O'Reilly. People say it's not enough. Some people say it's not enough, but it is the point that will get negotiations going with Celtic. That'll be the point that the board will sit down as soon as that bid comes. 25 million. We're still behind O'Reilly and Delavan. I'll just see this. Still behind O'Reilly development, clearly. Yeah, he is that. He's not as good. And you said last week that the market's only hotting up now. Yeah, you did, mate. You did that. Anyway, goodbye and thanks for the memories. Goodbye and thanks for the memories. I've just been texted as well. He's not going to Brighton, fishy Brighton. Well, Carly, unfortunately, I mean, I don't think it's a step up in his career. I don't think I don't think it is. O'Reilly wasn't great in his second season. He was only shit hot last year. Yeah, that's right. That's correct. And that's just my WhatsApp is going into meltdown, which means the football season's back and it must be getting close to Brighton and talk. There's Sky, it's on Sky as well. Brighton and talks with a potential deal to sign Matt O'Reilly. Interesting. Brighton are a well-run club. Matt will do well for them. That's about his next move. Yeah, and that's all about his next move. I believe it has been suggested by topskillsports.co.uk. Top Skills Sports. They broke the exclusive around about 3 hours ago, saying exclusive Brighton are in talks to sign Matt O'Reilly from Celtic with a bid ready to be submitted in the coming days. As they understand that the player has already agreed terms on a 5-year contract. A 5-year contract with Brighton. That's a fantastic part of the world. It's down on the south coast. It's yeah, get some decent weather, suppose. There will be one to watch in the English Premier League, but I just think that Matt O'Reilly could have went to, and I suppose it's what clubs value the player at. What happened to him when we going to a Champions League team? Well, that's what I thought he would do. I mean, we could only. It depends what club pays 5 million. Paddy's Day in Santa Ponza. I'd be up for that. Maybe a minute. See, the thing about having WhatsApp on your laptop is brilliant. Right, lads, interesting. Some interesting information coming through. Gallagher away for 30 million to Atletico. We're not supposed to go to Chelsea. Must give us 33 million for Big Matt. EPL is a joke of a league. Yeah, is according to the media, Matt has been on his way out of Celtic 5 times already. Said Richard, yes, but when it gets to as soon. Look. We can butter it up all the way you want. We are entering the end game, and as far as I'm concerned, with as soon as anyone comes in with that £25 million offer, that glorious figure, as soon as anyone comes in with anything in the region of that 25 million, I mean, there was talk of another club. No, there was talk this afternoon that somebody come in with a £19 million offer, and now there's 25 million. That's in the region that Celtic will sit down and talk. Celtic have said we have a price in our head for Matt O'Reilly, and it's 25 to 30 million. If someone comes in with 25 million cash plus a 30% add-on, 15% add-ons, right? If they're a 15% add-on, that's the end game for Matt O'Reilly as far as Celtic are concerned. I mean, he can go into social media and say that it's great to be back like he did this morning. Do you know, it doesn't matter what club it is. And clearly, Matt O'Reilly isn't interested in what club it is. And he's maybe just thinking, if I get to Brighton, who are a club that could potentially do not too bad mid-table in the English Premiership, he'll then get his next move, and he'll want to follow. He'll want to take the Virgil van Dijk route, you know, and I think it's doing Celtic out of millions personally, but if Celtic have set the bar at 25 million. Opening contact, 25 million. If Brighton, as it has been broken this afternoon, that they are going to come out with a 25 million plus add-ons, there's only one way it's ending. Last week, the rumour I heard was that we're looking at a winger from Brighton. Well, we'll wait and see. If the board screw us last minute and we don't have a replacement lined up, what? I've just been told that Paulo Bernardo is the board's replacement for Matt O'Reilly. We will not dip into the transfer market to spend crazy amounts of money on anyone. We've just bought Paulo Bernardo, and Celtic see Paulo Bernardo is the replacement. Now, you're going to say Paulo Bernardo's not as good as Matt O'Reilly. You've got to remember, it was only last season that Matt O'Reilly came to fruition. His first season and a half at Celtic, because he came in at the new year, his first season and a half at Celtic, he wasn't that good. He was kept out of the team by Aaron Moy. So we need to put things into perspective. We need to put things seriously into perspective as fans. Although we do not want our players to go to a bang average team where they're not going to want to win anything or they can't win anything, we all want our players to go to the highest level. I mean, we all want Matt O'Reilly. I want Matt O'Reilly to go to the highest level. But when a bid comes in for 25 million, and the board believe that Paulo Bernardo is the player to replace Matt O'Reilly long term, it's a no-brainer, and it's the way that Celtic work. And we can look at it. We now have well over 100 million in the bank. As soon as this deal goes through, we have more than 100 million in the bank. We've still only spent 1 million apart from Paulo Bernardo. Who we got for 3.4 million. So we've spent 4.4 million already. If we get 20, I mean, we've made money on the transfer market already this summer. It is going to be. If Aaron Moy wasn't an Aussie, do you think Matt would have been on the bench? Something today. Aaron Moy was an absolutely fantastic forum. He was a seasoned international player. He was a seasoned international player who had an absolutely fantastic World Cup. Matt O'Reilly could not lace his boots that season. Matt O'Reilly, it's nothing to do with him being Australian and Ange Postecoglou being there. It's all to do with the fact that Matt O'Reilly couldn't lace Aaron Moy's boots that season. And that's a simple fact. And it's something that we forget about. We're all good at looking back at the last season. But we tend to forget about the season before because it's that far gone back now. But when you look at it, people will say it's a great piece of business by Celtic. People will say it's a great piece of business. You buy a player in for 1.5 million, you sell him for 25 plus add-ons. It'll be interesting to see if Matt O'Reilly is in training when the pictures are released of Lennoxtown later in the week. So that'll be the one to keep an eye on to see if Matt O'Reilly is in training. As soon as he's not in training, it'll be all over the media that he's heading south to. Baz, stop spreading misinformation. Carly, I'm not spreading misinformation. You go onto Twitter. Brighton are in talks. Brighton are in talks to sign Matt O'Reilly with a bid submit in the coming days. Sky have just put it out also, so it's not information. Brighton want to come in with a 5-year deal. It's the Top Skill Sports UK, who are actually Sky Sports transfer specialists and sports writers, with 19,000 followers on Twitter, came out this afternoon and said that Matt O'Reilly has already agreed 5-year contract. He's already agreed a 5-year contract, and it's just because Celtic are about to go into talks for the 25 million. They'll know exactly what Matt O'Reilly will be wanting wage-wise. I mean, his agent will be well aware of what he can get wage-wise, and then it all comes down to what Celtic want. Wages aren't the issue for any team that's coming in for Matt O'Reilly. Atlanta, wages were not an issue. Southampton, wages were not an issue. It has all come down to what club is prepared to pay the 25 million. Oh, that's the information that I'm getting tonight, Carly, that Celtic will see Paulo Bernardo as Matt O'Reilly's replacement. And you can't, he might be a bit further on in development, but he's only one season. He's only one season further on than Matt O'Reilly. Matt O'Reilly, a season and a half ago, he wouldn't have got a look in. He wouldn't have got a look in. We need to take the shiny green specs off when it comes to Matt O'Reilly and his time at Celtic. He's had one fantastic season. If there hadn't been a bid that came in for 18 million at Christmas after the Champions League for Matt O'Reilly, do you think that the bids would have started coming in this summer for the best part of 25 million? Would Celtic have priced him after that bid came in? Would Celtic have priced him at 25 million? That's the question that should be answered, and that's the question that should be asked of the board. But the board will not take questions on it, and it'll be left down to Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers will be, he'll be hung out to dry, as far as I'm concerned. The fact that Matt O'Reilly and Rio Hatate on Sunday, yesterday, were absolutely immense. Can Paulo Bernardo be that type of player? Maybe in a year's time. But then it takes Celtic back a stage. It holds us back. Once again, we're getting so far forward. We're building a team and a system that the manager likes, and we sell one of our best players. Paulo Bernardo should have been brought in right at the beginning of the transfer window. So if Matt O'Reilly was to be sold, it was a seamless transfer of power from Matt to Paulo. And it is as simple as that, whether we like it or not. Anyway, never liked him since he didn't declare for Ireland. I don't care if he was eligible. Say San Fran Celtic. Fuck him, he's off. Celtic fans are so fickle. These English clubs love giving lowball offers, yeah, but when 25 million comes in, I'm sorry, that is the starting point. That is the number that Celtic have put out there. Come in with a 25 plus offer, 25 to 30 million, and we'll sit down and talk. And that has been Celtic's thing all summer. That's been right. But the question is who do we bring in? We still need to bring in a defender. We still need to bring in a left back. We now need to bring in another midfield player, a really good midfield player. We need to bring in 2 strikers. That's 5 first-team ready players that we need to bring in before the end of the transfer window. That's 5 first-team players that have had no idea, absolutely no idea, what the system is that Celtic have been playing the full pre-season, what tactics that Brendan Rodgers has been implementing through the pre-season, what the changes in formation that Brendan Rodgers has been implementing during pre-season. Once again, it throws the beginning of our season into turmoil. And when you go into the Champions League and you're that ill-prepared, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Celtic are going to go into the Champions League again preparing to fail. And it's as simple as that, because we did not get 5 players in quick enough. And that is fact. That is fact. The board have not got 5 players in quick enough, in my opinion, and you can all agree or disagree, but in my opinion, I think that we're preparing to fail in Europe once again. And Schmeichel could say that he's looking forward to the Champions League and he wants to try and achieve something that he's never achieved in the Champions League before. Brendan can come out and say all that, but we know the ability of the players we have on the park. The ability of the players that we had on the park when you're playing against Kilmarnock that are sitting back and hardly getting over the halfway line. When you've got 85% possession, it's easy. When you've only got 40% possession and playing a top team in the Champions League, a Champions League team, it's not going to be easy for Celtic. And it's not going to be easy for these players. And I don't think that these players have the grit to take us further forward than we've ever been in the Champions League for a long, long time. I just don't think that we'll have it. Baz, get on the board. Give me 5 million and I'll get a seat on the board. If I won, I swear to God, if I won the Euro Millions, right, and I won 50, 60 million, the 2 guys that own 15 million in Celtic, I'd buy both their shares off them for 20 million, and then that would make me the 3rd biggest shareholder, and I'd fucking sort the shite right out. And I tell you one thing, what the Tories on the board would be getting right to fuck. Anyway, let's jump into the comment section and see what we're saying this evening with the big breaking news that Brighton are in talks to sign Matt O'Reilly. A bid is ready to be submitted in the coming days for 25 million plus add-ons. Matt O'Reilly is believed to have been already agreed to personal terms on a 5-year contract. And that's coming out of Top Skill Sports UK, who write for Sky. And then Sky are now running the story also. Sky broke on their media sites 44 minutes ago. Brighton are preparing a 25 plus add-ons for Matt O'Reilly and are close to reaching the figure that Celtic would accept. It's the end game. Whether we like it or not, it is the end game. And Kasper Schmeichel, let's talk about Kasper Schmeichel, because he's been speaking to Celtic TV before we jump into the comments. Kasper Schmeichel was asked about Flag Day at Celtic Park and did it exceed his expectations? And he said, yeah, it exceeded my expectations. It's been an incredible welcome. I've got to say that. It's overwhelming. It's something that makes me very proud and also makes me very, very motivated to keep winning for this team. There's no doubt that Kasper Schmeichel was an absolutely fantastic player. And let's just hope that he has an even more successful time than Joe Hart had at Celtic. Because you've got to say, Joe Hart had a not bad time at Celtic and won quite a few trophies. But if we can get the treble this year, that'll do Kasper, and maybe he will stay on for that other year so that we can bring Sinisalo on as a goalkeeper and make sure that he is ready for first team football. Jump into the comment section and see who is on the live this evening. Port Shop Express says, unfortunately, the board aren't big enough to turn down offers. Pardon me, like that. Yep, exactly. Evening Baz says Jim F. Jamesy Boy's in the house. Evening Trips, Paul Bear's in the house. Carly's in the house. I'm going to jump through these. Carly says, if Aberdeen win 5-0 tonight, they go top. Yeah, they're not going to win 5-0, surely. Lanky says Celtic are looking at Dundee Ah, centre midfield McGowan. Surely you can just see Celtic, man. Why don't we go out and just come? There's no point. There's no point. Celtic can't go to do that. If Bernardo is replacement, the board must resign. Says who really cares? Well, I've got to say, um, Paulo Bernardo will be the replacement for Matt O'Reilly, whether you like it or not. 30 million plus is what the board are looking for, says Rab. Yep, 30 million plus. That's what we think the board are looking for. The board haven't actually came out and said they have a figure in mind, and 25 million plus add-ons will get the ball rolling. 25 million plus Matt O'Reilly's not away yet. Just wait and see, says Paul Beard. Yep, not a chance Matt O'Reilly going to Brighton. It's bullshit, said Carly. Oh, well, Carly, well, it'll all come out in the wash. It'll all come out in the wash. Sean says, why didn't Matt O'Reilly say, if Celtic worth them 30 million, pay me the going rate and I'll stay at Celtic? Because Celtic couldn't afford to pay what a 30 million player would be on. I mean, he's going to go, he's on what, about 15 grand a week at Celtic? He's going to go on, the regions around about 50 grand a week, easily. He's going to go, I mean, when you look at some of the players, Stuart Armstrong went on about that. You know, it is a no-brainer for Matt O'Reilly. He's going to more than triple his wages. Anyway, any news on Celtic making any signings? No, none whatsoever. It is absolutely, there's nothing about Celtic. There's nothing. I think Celtic are sitting waiting for the bid coming in for Matt O'Reilly. And it is the Celtic way. Once they know that they've got 25 million in the bank and they know that they're not going to touch the 100 million that's in the bank already, right? Because the accounts woman will sit and she'll log on to the bank every day and she'll be like, just waiting on the phone call. Much is in the bank today. Yeah, it's still 105,863,249 pounds and 50 pence. Do you know what I mean? And then they're going to be like, right, we've just spent 6 million. I mean, this is what we've got in the bank. We need to get this 25 million in. And there, Brendan, you're going to get a percentage of that 25 million. You'll get a little percentage, not a lot. Not a lot, but we'll see what happens. I can't see is the fact that we didn't go out and spend big on a goalkeeper, and people were saying in the comment section earlier on, look, well, we're named with every goalkeeper. I think that is the fact that we might have been named with goalkeepers, but we didn't make an official approach. And that's fact. We didn't make an official approach. Brendan Rodgers said it. He said, look, there's lots of names getting thrown about. But the fact is he said it's all just rumours. They only made an approach to Schmeichel 2 weeks before he signed. That's when we made the approach, 2 weeks before he signed. And the Sinisalo one, they knew that was going to be a long-term replacement. Brendan Rodgers wanted wholesale changes in the goalkeeper department. He said lots of good things about Scott Bain last summer. He said lots of good things about Scott Bain, and Scott Bain being a fantastic number 2. But then he's wanting to build something for the future of Celtic. So, and you would think that Matt O'Reilly would be that you would want to mould around Matt O'Reilly and Rio Hatate. Is Paulo Bernardo that type of player? Well, we don't know. We're going to have to see this season because it looks the way that we're heading. Paulo Bernardo is going to get a lot of game time in the next couple of weeks. That's for sure. Anyway, let's jump back into the comments section. What happened to him going to a Champions League team, says Kevin. Well, we all wanted that we got a Champions League team, but if no Champions League team comes in with 25 million plus, Celtic are going to just talk to whoever. Do you think that as soon as the Saudis came in for 25 million, Jota was like, wait a minute, I don't care if it's fucking Saudi, look at the wages. Do you know what I mean? I think we all thought Matt O'Reilly might have been a better player. If he can get 25 million plus add-ons and a percentage is sell-on, we can't turn it down, says John. No, we can't. Brighton will not win trophies. Yeah, I know, Christopher, they won't win trophies. But some players are not all moulded in the same cloth as Scott Brown and James Forrest and Callum McGregor. Some players just see the journey to the riches. Mark says EPL is a joke of a league. Yeah, it's that. According to the media, Matt has been on his way at Celtic 5 times. It says Richard. Yep, we all know that. have a bit of balls and say fuck off, no matter the price. John Paul Glasgow. I think that Celtic, the fact that Celtic can do that with Kyogo. Brendan Rodgers says Kyogo's not for sale. Kyogo is not for sale. And I think that what you'll see, even though Kyogo has just changed his agent, I think you will see a doubling down in Kyogo, and I think you'll see a better Kyogo this season. And I think that the fact that Celtic have come out and said to Kyogo, you're not for sale. You'll see the real Kyogo. It'll be like the fucking new Eminem videos that are kicking about in his new album, where the real Slim Shady just comes out of the fucking the fucking ether and into modern day. I think we'll see the Kyogo that we've seen a couple of years ago this season, which hopefully means that his shoulder injury's gone, and I just think that you'll get a buzz from Kyogo. But we need players. Patrick Toner's in Belfast. How's Belfast? Well, the fucking madness that's going on around the UK. I tell you, looking from the outside in now, the UK is a shit show. Miss Pariah says, good evening, Baz. Myself and my partner are behind Ursula and Jerry Lennon flying to Seville. Oh, that's brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. All right, rest in peace, Ursula. You'll never walk alone. I'm glad I've seen that one, Miss Pariah. Miss Provisional IRA. Kevin says, when it's officially confirmed, I'll believe it. Until then, I hope Matt is not desperate to leave. I don't think he is desperate to leave, but he understands the situation that Celtic are in. As soon as an offer comes in for that 25 million, and that's the button. That's the button that presses contract talks with Celtic. That's the negotiating button. You know, teams can come in and say, we'll offer 18 million. Nah, not interested. Not interested. Celtic will knock it back. Celtic will say, look, we're looking for 25 to 30 million. So 25 million is the asking price with the add-ons, taking it to the 30 million. Paulo Bernardo's got massive potential. Yep, I think that. The board of no ambition. Pure pish. Bernardo will be a different type of player. He will be. I'm going to jump through the comments. Carly says, Bernardo is not Mark's replacement. Says Carly. Just wait till Kyogo bids start coming in. That would be doomsday scenario for Celtic fans. That'll be doomsday scenario if any bids. The fact that the Celtic have said he's not for sale is hopefully enough to put any suitors off. Surely we think that 130 million is an estimate, but interest alone in that amount of cash could surely go towards Adam Ida, says Lindsay Greenwood. And we are all just speculating on how much money that we do have in the bank, and it will be in the region of 100 plus million. Simple mathematics tell you that it will be in the region of 100 plus million. The time that we've had our season ticket money's all been paid. Everyone's season tickets money's all been paid. That's been put in the bank. Celtic taking roughly about 30 million in season ticket money. So with the 70 million that was left from last season, okay, you've had ongoing costs throughout the season. So say the ongoing cost of taking 6, 7, 8 million off. The time that the Champions League money starts coming in, we're going to be sitting well within 130 million, that area, that region of 130 million in the bank. And the neglect of ambition for the club is what is letting us down just now. And what's letting fans down, let's say, because if the shoe was on the other foot and it was David Murray in charge, and David Murray had the money that Celtic have, because let's face it, Rangers never had this kind of money in the bank, ever. Rangers never had near 100 million cash in the bank, never. When they went through all their cheating and they paid in EBTs and everything, they never had that kind of money in there. If they had 100 million in the bank back then, they would have fed that all over the media. He would never have went into liquidation with all these companies. Anyway, Buys would buy the club and ban the Poppy Day. You fucking right I would, San Fran Celtic. You'd never see a Celtic. I would still give the 10 grand to Scotland Poppy just to shut up the thingy. But yeah, it would be completely banned. Right, let's jump through some of the comments. Guys, we know that the board will sell as soon as possible to make money, says Peter King. Yep, we all know that. Getting the big lad from Aberdeen signed. I think we need to get in two decent strikers. The music comes from the pits of hell. Yeah, the music does come from the pits of hell. Would we spend money? Would spend money, end up with the tax man. Keep him in the bank, it'll end up with the tax man anyway. Get the Aberdeen player signed, he will score 2 goals, he'll score a barrel load of goals. For fuck's sake, McCarthy's wage is what letting us down. Give him away. Celtic tried to get him off the wage book last season, but McCarthy wanted the rest of his contract paid in full. I'm sure he's got nudes of Peter Lawwell's wife or something. He has to. Matt won't go to Brighton because he's looking for his Champions team. Hail, hail, says JGB. That's what I thought. I thought he should have been aiming for the heights. But sometimes in football, there's only one team that comes in and pays the asking price. And that asking price is currently 25 million to 30 million. When somebody comes in and says, there's 25 million, we're going to give you 15% add-ons and we'll give you percentage more if he plays every game. We'll give you a percentage more if he scores goals. We'll give you a percentage more if we get into European football. That's how selling clauses work. And that's what will get you into the region of the £30 million bracket. And unfortunately, I think James McCarthy has been let go last week. Has he? James McCarthy has been let go. Well, good. He must have got paid off. It's all about the big move. It's common sense, says Lanky. Yep, we need more height and physicality in the team. Yes, we do need more height and physicality in the team. It's what we've been crying out for. Adam Ida would have given us that option, but we don't seem to have had him. Let me just do a little update on the whole Matt O'Reilly, and yep, it's still Sky News are still saying it's the 20 Anthony Joseph, see if he's coming out with anything. An emotional turn for McDermott Park as they pay tribute to long-term owner Jim Brown. They've just been sold to an American, haven't they? The guy that owned St. Johnstone for years, they sold them to Americans. Be interesting to see what happens with them, especially with all the land that they own. I wonder if he bought them just for the land. And the fact that they've got their training complex on it, so they do have a lot of land. And the thing is, an interesting fact about St. Johnstone, they actually sold their ground before to Asda in the middle of the town. They sold their ground before the ground that they were at just now. They sold their ground to Asda back in the day, so they know how to sell their money for building property. Yeah. Anyway, there's not a lot of other Celtic speculation going around when it comes to Celtic transfer news. There is absolutely nothing. It is all about selling the one player. It is all about selling the one player. There's nothing. There's no new transfer. Oh, there is one bit of interesting talk. I was getting Ben Doak mixed up the other evening, and it turns out that Liverpool have made a decision on Ben Doak's future. After 18 months after leaving Celtic, Ben Doak could make a Liverpool exit. It's believed that they are looking to offload Ben Doak already. So Daniel Kelly, if you're watching, stay at Celtic, son. You know, the grass isn't greener on the other side. Ben Doak is looking... the Premier League clubs like Leicester, Southampton and Brentford have shown interest in taking Ben Doak from Liverpool. So that's breaking news that's coming in this afternoon. Also, just a little bit of and finally moment, because some of the young players at Celtic seem to think that they're going to have a better career. And he thought he was going to go to Liverpool and get Liverpool first team and everything. But Liverpool are trying to get rid of him already. Anyway, that's 33 minutes and 52, 53, 54, 55 seconds. There's been 1,530 people on the live, which is fantastic for this time on a Monday evening. We'll be back live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Celtic Park time, 9 o'clock Central European time. I think it's around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time in America. Couple of last comments. I don't believe it, says Big Dom. Be careful what you wish for, says Sean. Yep, be careful what you wish for. Hasta mañana, says Richard. See you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Big Baz said, keep the team we've got, a good centre back, left back, and striker, and we could do a job in Europe. But that's not going to happen, unfortunately. I'm a family friend of James, and I try not to rinse negativity aimed at him. Well, Desmond Donnelly, if you're a family friend of him, where is he? And what is going on? Has he left Celtic? Find out and tell us tomorrow night. Cheers, troops. Have a good night, says Lorna. And on that note, Miss Provisional IRA says, why are Celtic fans not vocal about this fucking board? Well, I don't know. On that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around the world.